Hello everyone, my name is Raven Shadowhawk and you're listening to Smut with Brains, my chance to chat with you about all the things that interest me as an author of erotic fiction. Please be aware this podcast will often contain sexual content, some of it explicit, and that I occasionally swear. Okay, I swear a lot, what can you do? But if you're happy with that and not already running for cover, slip into your most comfy clothes, join me between the sheets and settle in for a super smexy ride. Yes, hello everybody, this is Raven Shadowhawk and welcome to episode 16 of Smut with Brains. It is Tuesday, the 11th of April as I record this, and we are slap bang in the middle of the Easter holiday. So I apologise for the noisy background. That would be the Sprogs listening to and watching, as a matter of fact, Mario on YouTube. You know, because it's the only way I can get a little bit of peace and quiet so I can actually record for you in any way, shape or form. Yeah. Anyway, good grief. We are belting along, aren't we? I'm actually quite excited about how well we're doing. This week's episode is going to be another short one. I've still got a bit of a lurgy going on. My throat is okay. My voice is all right-ish. But mostly I haven't been able to do a lot. So I will go into why now, I suppose, because that's what I do. Let's see. Last week I only had a few things to do, but of course, I barely managed to get out of bed. This is becoming a bit boring, I will say, this whole illness thing. I've been told by a couple of people now that I need to actually just go to the doctors, find out what's going on, and see if I'm, like, I don't know, internally dying or something. I don't think I am. I'm quite confident that I'm not, as a matter of fact, but this cough and sore throat thing that messed me up a couple of weeks ago is still here. It's yet to go away. And it actually led to me passing out on the sofa during a party on Sunday afternoon. Afternoon, mind you, not even like nighttime. Afternoon. This was like, I don't know, 2:30. And the house is filled with children and relatives and friends and screaming and food and very loud dogs. Beautiful but loud dogs. And I crawled into the back living room, sprawled on the sofa, hid under a very, very comfortable, actually, fluffy blanket and slept for 3 hours because I couldn't do anything else. And the whole week has been like that. It's beyond annoying. And the fact that I can sit here and record for you now is quite nice. It's nice. But I'm still aware that I'm very, very nasal and that I can't really breathe through my nose and that my voice isn't quite as it usually is. So I think I'm going to have a week off. That's what I think. I'll take you through the rest of the podcast as I usually do. But quick heads up, there will be no Smut with Brains next week. For two reasons. One, because I'm ill and I think I should take some time recovering from that and actually getting better. And two, because it's the Easter holiday and getting quiet time away from the sproglings is going to be very, very difficult given that the Funk Master has so much work to do. So I think just writing it off and saying, have a break, have a Kit Kat, or maybe not a Kit Kat because it's probably too many sins on Slimming World, will be the way that I get through this week and the next. But I'm still going to take you through the usual bits and bobs, and of course I have a reading for you, don't I? I've got the next part of learning the ropes to read. So I am going to do that, but first I'll take you through last week. Trust me, it will be brief. Mark it on the calendar. Tick it off the list. Work complete. Yeah, that's sweet. Here's my to-do list. You get the gist. week, what I wanted to do was put together a proper top and tail for Breaking Noose, Learning the Ropes, and get a bit more of it actually written down. Did I manage it? Hell no, I didn't. What I did manage to do was sleep a lot, and eat a lot, and cough a lot. So I got some stuff done, just not quite what I was hoping. Never mind. I swear, my mother actually said to me the other day, "You must be the only person to get colds in summer." I'm like, 1, mother dearest, it's not summer. 2, it's more than a cold. But yeah, you're probably right. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. You guys out there, you got any like hints or tips for staying healthy and not coming down with coldy, fluey, buggy things every couple of months? Because I could really do with it. It really slaps me down when it comes, and it just makes it so difficult to get anything done. Anyway, moving on. No laughing segment today. I figure it's time to put that to one side unless something specific hits me right in the funnies and inspires me to share. I would rather give much more focus to the actual point of this podcast. The thing that was in my mind when I began chatting to you all back in January of this year. Oh my God, it's April now. Which was the reading of the story. So without further ado, I guess it's time to kick off the next part of Breaking Noose, Learning the Ropes. Gather round, boys and girls. Raven's here, and she's going to tell you a story. A sexy story. No, a smexy story. Breaking Noose. First part of the Learning the Ropes series by Raven Shadowhawk. Episode 2. Shave your legs. What? I looked up from the mirror hanging over the sink. Frothy toothpaste splattered the sides as I spat and rinsed my brush. No chance. Oh, come on. I've done mine. You always do yours, but I'm not worried about friction. Day finished plucking errant hairs from the sharp line of her left eyebrow and tossed the tweezers into the medicine cabinet. I bet you'd be really good at it, though. Dancing. For a moment, I could almost see it, clinging to a shiny silver pole and flinging my body into all sorts of impressive lifts and shapes. Then I remembered that my body is nothing like Day's. No, you have your skills and I have mine. Shame. We could use more girls at the club, and you'd do well there. We don't have many black girls. You'd be like a gourmet treat. Maybe even more than me. You're not selling it. Brush back in the holder, study my reflection in the mirror. I'd rather stay at the picture shack, thanks. At least there I get to use a camera. Day snorted. That place is beneath you, and you know it. A light tap at the door cut off my answer. Are you guys nearly done? Nathan's voice. I need... Oh, just come in. Day barely paused in applying her makeup. We don't bite. No. Thank you. I'd rather wait. You've got nothing we haven't seen. Her eyes widened. Oh! Day raced to the door and threw it open. On the other side, Nathan stood with his hand still raised, a bemused look in his pale blue eyes. Hi? She leaned into his face. Do you guys get, extra bits or something? Is that why you won't come in? I rolled my eyes. Not everyone is as much of an exhibitionist as you. Anyway, he's gay, not a circus freak. I never said that. Sorry, Nathan. Will, get out of your hair. I grabbed Day's arm and yanked her out the bathroom. Come on, you. Directly opposite, a door stood ajar. The small gap offered a glimpse within of pale blue wallpaper and off-white skirting. I froze, staring at the door. Even that was different. Painted a dull off-white to match the skirting. They wriggled free of my hand. What's your problem? I was only... Oh, honey. What? I'm fine. She cocked an eyebrow at me. And I'm a good little Sikh girl. A sigh. I can ask him to leave, you know. He's great and way better at paying rent than you ever were, but he's not my best friend. If you want the room back, I'm fine. I covered the wobble in my voice with a rough cough. I just didn't know he'd redecorated. Day bit her lip, her eyes downcast. It's only a couple of weeks ago. He likes blue. She touched my wrist. Come on. We can change in my room. I let her lead me down the hall to the last door at the back. Relief hit me as I stepped through into the room beyond. This, at least, hadn't changed. As ever, Day's bedroom resembled a bomb site. Clothes, shoes, and a near obscene amount of jewellery and fake feathers. Band posters, festival wristbands, and tatty pennants hung from the walls. On one side, 3 shelves groaned under the weight of CDs, vinyl, and a bright green ukulele. Photos too. Some of her family, some of us. I dived under her bed and stretched my legs, flexing the toes. How can you live like this? How can you live from a suitcase? Came the tart response. Anyway, it's all contained. I know exactly where everything is. I call it organised chaos. I call it a mess. Whatever. A thong flew at my head, followed by 3 more in varied pastel shades. I ducked those, then scooted sideways as a hairbrush thudded onto the duvet. Day? What? Oh, sorry. More rummaging, more flying clothes, then shit, I've lost it. I dodged a flying bra. Organised chaos, huh? Oh, shut up. They surfaced from a stack of brightly coloured leggings and t-shirts. I've got this great top. It's red and black with this weird kind of strappy thing across the back. It's better if I show you. It's yours anyway. I'm not wearing your clothes, and you're not joining me in yours. At least try to play along. Pretend you want to have fun. For me? A buzzing phone saved me from the need to answer. I pulled it from my pocket and checked the display. Oh God. They stared. What's up with you? I tried to answer. I wanted to, honest, but the words wouldn't come. They were stuck in the back of my throat, beneath a lump of something that tasted suspiciously like hope. Shona. Her voice ran along the edges of my hearing. I knew she was talking, but beyond my name, I couldn't say what. The phone in my hand snagged my attention and held it. The display name, the familiar number, the 3 magical words just visible in the text message preview. Please come back. Shona! They shook me, breaking the spell. You don't have to wear the top. Just, please, What? I held up the phone. Joshua. A snort. I thought we agreed to forget about that prick for tonight. Seriously, that's why we're going out? Now, do you want a glass of wine while we get ready? I've got a nice white. No, he's on the phone. He sent a message. They finally looked down at the phone in my hand. You're kidding. No, it's right here. Delete it. Delete it right now. Don't even look at it. What could he possibly have to say after what he did to you? It made sense to some degree. My eyes still stung when I thought about him, my chest tightened and my skin tingled each time I imagined his face, his smile, his touch. But my heart ached when I remembered our last words, his hard eyes, distant expression, and harsh tone. Maybe, I began. Maybe nothing. He said no, remember? I think that's plain enough. I bit my lip again. But he was scared. And that's an excuse to treat you like shit? She grasped my hands. Shona, for the love of all things good in the world, don't get drawn back in. Please. Forget about him. Come out with me, have fun, meet this guy. I dragged my hands away and darted off the bed, out the room, back along the corridor. I ran all the way back to the living room and into the comfort of my sleeping bag, pulling the thick fabric over my body as I settled on the sofa. Deep breath. The phone trembled in my hands. I tried twice before I could unlock the screen. The message popped up with a pink background, an image of Joshua's smiling face beside it. Please come back to me. I miss you. I made a huge mistake. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't even think past those beautiful, beautiful words. My heart raced a crazy triple step against my ribs. I knew it. Another message arrived as I considered the first. Please call me. We need to talk. I scrunched my eyes shut and hugged the phone to my chest. In that moment, the loan didn't matter anymore, nor did my dreams of a business or even the numbing thought of another day at the picture shack. Joshua was back. He wanted me. He needed me. And that's that. Another part of learning the ropes, breaking news down for the week. God, hopefully if I can just get through the next fortnight, I'll be able to maybe put these out a bit quicker. Who knows? I love this story so much, and this Shona character, oh God, I love writing about her. I'm really keen to get it moving, but of course I don't want to burn out, so I'm trying to pace myself. But if I can get ahead enough in what I've written, then yeah, maybe I can release 2 chapters a week instead of 1. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. It's time to move on. What's going on? Let me tell you now. It's all about the week ahead. My week ahead. My week ahead. My week ahead. Let me tell you about my week ahead. Are you ready now to hear about the week ahead? Yes, right, the week ahead. Pretty easy. As I mentioned before, I'm going to have another week off. I say another. I can't remember my last week off. It must have been probably last half term, actually, when I realised that I wasn't going to get anything done because the sproglings were around. Same again. This week is a write-off. This weekend, the Easter weekend, we have family coming over. DSB's dad is coming over with his wife and the 2 children, so her half brothers, and it's going to be a busy house. Just, okay, imagine this for a hellish weekend, okay? Your own kids, plus your younger brothers, who are, 11 and 9. Fuck. It's going to be a mad house. And imagine all that, okay? And everyone is fueled by chocolate. Because that's what's going to happen. Fuck. I'm so glad that she has to deal with that and I can kind of disappear back into her brain for those instances. Because me, I don't deal with kids very well. Maybe that's why I write the erotica, because kids don't get involved in that at all. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be crazy. So, yeah. This week, a write-off. Next week, things may happen depending on how busy the Funk Master is and whether or not I get time and space outside the evenings to get any work done. Obviously, I still have my evenings, but I'm so exhausted by the time I get there, I pretty much just sit and watch Netflix or fall face first on my pillow. So, yeah. But as it is, I will be back on April the 24th, or rather I'll be recording on April 24th. More likely the episode will release on the 25th because that's the Tuesday, which is my normal release day. And we'll be back to usual services from that point. Fingers crossed, people. Fingers crossed. Yes, folks, it's Q&A time. You ask the questions and I'll give the answers. And I will never, ever lie. Promise. Okay, brand new list today. It's really, really interesting seeing the different types of things that people want to know when they ask authors questions. So I'm actually quite enjoying just trolling the internet and seeing what's out there. So just 2 questions today, so I can keep things moving at a reasonable pace and so I can go back to bed. Or more likely, cook dinner for the sproglings. Anyway, question number 1 today is, what would you say is your interesting writing quirk? Fuck. I don't know. Oh my god. Interesting writing quirk. Okay. Okay. I hope I'm answering this the right way. My interesting writing quirk. I filter quite well. So some people need to have like complete silence or a specific set of music to write. Ileandra is one of those people, actually, bizarrely. But me, if I'm writing, I can do it any place, anytime. And I actually get on with it really well. Although, in terms of interesting quirk, yeah, I can write any place, any time. And I'll tell you this story very briefly because it still makes me giggle even now. A few weeks ago, I went to Birmingham to see a friend of mine and I did it on the train because that's how I prefer to travel. And I took my laptop with me, meaning to get some bits done. On the return journey, the train was very, very crowded. I fucking hate that line. But never mind, it's by the by. But I had an idea, just a flash of something while I was on the train. And I knew if I didn't write it down, I would lose it. And it was just an idea. And normally when that happens, I crack out the phone and dictate it into the phone, as a voice file, because that's quicker. But I didn't really think I could speak this idea aloud on a very crowded train. So I wrote it down instead, warts and all, sex and all. Obviously it was a sexy idea. But the guy beside me on the train seat, because it was those seats around the table, so you've got 2 one side, 2 the other, and you've got a table in the middle. I was on the aisle seat, he was in the window, and I'm furiously tapping away at my keyboard keys, and the words are just falling out of me to get this idea down. And this guy is on the phone, and I think he was talking to his girlfriend or something like that, and he kept sneaking glances at my screen. Now, it wouldn't have been a big deal, except I was writing, it was a sex scene that I was writing, and because I was using Scrivener and because the train was bumping around, it wasn't a particularly smooth part of the line, I had the text quite big. So it would actually be really easy to read exactly what I was writing, even from where he was. And basically, he kept sneaking glances at my screen, and his conversation on the phone was getting more and more kind of fragmented and distant because he was focused on what he was reading, which was my sex scene. So, and when I realized this is what was happening, I thought, this is comical. I'm going to make it as bad as I can. So I kind of drifted away from the original idea. I mean, I had the bones of it down, so I wasn't doing myself a disservice, but I drifted away from that to kind of just write something as filthy as I possibly could for the benefit of this guy. And I swear his face was getting redder and redder and redder, and his voice was getting higher and squeakier, and I'm just lively tapping away, making believe that I haven't seen that he's reading or anything else, thinking, this is so funny. And I'm telling you this because it feels like a writing quirk. When I write, not so much Leandra, but when I write, even if it's a messy first draft, I don't mind sharing. I don't mind people seeing it before it's polished, if you like. And that's definitely a quirk, because I can't think of many other authors who'd say the same thing. And somebody watching me type, particularly in that scenario as well, because bear in mind it was a very public place, public train, blah, 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 was actually quite a lot of fun. And I just thought, what would it take to properly shock this guy to the point that he would say something? And unfortunately, the journey wasn't long enough for me to find out. I probably could have come up with something, but there you go. That's how that went. Question number 2. As a child, what did you want to do when you grew up? I'm sure I've answered something similar to this elsewhere, like in a previous episode, but I suppose as a child, rather than a teenager, yeah, because I pretty much knew I wanted to be a writer from when I was like 13, 14. So prior to that, I bounced around a butt ton. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a singer. So mostly creative and nurturing kind of things, actually. That's quite interesting. But, child me clearly hadn't become as jaded as adult me is. So something like nursing or teaching would have been a fantastic idea to child me. But these days I know too many teachers to think even for a second that it's something that I would enjoy. And I've seen what Jeremy is doing to the NHS. Fuck it. I could not possibly be a nurse now, or any kind of service nurturing role like that. I couldn't do it. So writing is perfect for me. I get to sit by myself in a room with a screen and not talk to anybody. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah, that's the reality of it, really. Introverts unite. People haters unite. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Right, so that takes us to the end of the Q&A. Oh my god, and to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for sticking with me, everybody. I've had a lovely time, despite the voice croak and the occasional child interruption. Apologies for the quality of the audio in general for this episode, and for my horrific nasalness during the reading of Breaking News. I will re-record that when I'm less gross, so it sounds less shit. But in the meantime, I just wanted to keep up with my schedule of getting the stuff out to you. But I will re-record it, that's a promise. For now, I will say fare thee well. Have an awesome rest of the week. Enjoy your Easter if you celebrate that kind of thing. If you don't, just, take advantage of the very interesting selection of chocolates that's out there right now. If you don't do that kind of thing either, then just have a good weekend, and I will catch you next week. Oh man, yeah, that's it. Bye everyone. Bye, 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 This has been an episode of Smut with Brains featuring myself, Raven Shadowhawk. If you'd like to get in contact with me or the shared brain, you can email through info@ravenshadowhawk.co.uk or hit us through Twitter on @IleandraXRaven. For further information and the episode archive, visit www.ravenshadowhawk.co.uk. All episodes to date arranged and edited by Leah Osborne, Opening and closing music sourced from Ben's Sound. Title, Sexy, of course. Stings feature further music from Purple Planet, Ben Sound and freesound.org. Track titles are Funky Element, Sunny and News Report Music.